Hey, Algebra 1 kids, this is Dr. Callahan with Algebra 1 Semester 1, Week 16, Monday. How are you guys doing? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. So go ahead and pause your video for the following 3 questions. Keep in mind that your warm-up log is going to be due in Week 18, so in 2 short weeks, and it is worth 300 points, so keep that in mind. And since I have you guys here, I just realized that I typed in the wrong class, and this is prop and stats, but you guys, you're not prop and stats, you're in Algebra 1. So I'm just gonna go ahead and briefly change that. Much better. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started for today's stuff. All right, so let's put things into perspective. This week it is week 16. I know, can you believe it? We've been here together for 16 weeks. So this is week 16. Next week is week 17, and your finals is in week 18. So we're kind of getting very close to this. Keep in mind that you can go ahead and update your grade anytime that between now and week 18. In order to pass this class, you have to get a 60% after final, and so that way you can move on to geometry. If you don't get at least a 60% by at the end of this final, at the end of the semester, you will have to retake this class again next year, but you'll be taking 2 math classes. You'll be taking geometry in addition concurrently with Algebra 1 that you failed. So you have about 2 weeks to go ahead and turn in any assignments that you need to turn in. You can just take a picture of it and then just email it to me. Or if you want to drop it off, I actually have a desk outside of my classroom. You can put your missing work on the desk as well outside of B1. So whichever one works best for you. But you always have the opportunity of redoing your work and submitting it. So I will highly suggest that you take the packets that you have and then just make sure you watch the videos and make up those assignments. If for some reason you don't have the packet, please send me an email either on MS Team or on email, and I'll be more than happy to send you an electronic copy. Or if you want to pick up a hard copy, I have left a few outside of my classroom on a desk, and the students can just pick up whenever they need to pick up outside of B1. So again, I am here to help you guys to make sure that you pass, but at the same time, you have to meet me halfway. You have to want this grade a little bit more than I do. So yeah, 60%, and we're getting close to that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be talking about for today. So your lesson today is going to be focused on the following. This is the breakdown. Today we're going to talk about our piecewise function. This is our second or third day talking about it. I can't really remember which day it is, but it's one of the two. It's either the second day or third day. I have a little group work for you guys. Normally you'll be doing this in class, but since everything is virtually online, we'll be doing this online as well. I'll show you guys the work and you guys just go ahead and match it online. I am going to go over 2 or 3 examples with you guys on piecewise functions, and that's basically it. So with that said, I'm going to have you guys take a look at your MS Team. So on your MS Team, make sure you are checking your assignments every single day, since now that we're moving to online virtual distance. Like for example, today is week 16 Monday, but really it's Friday because I'm making this, before Monday. So week 15 Friday, you got to view the assignment. And once you click on the view assignment, it shows me whether you actually seen it or not. And if it says view, then I will mark you present. But with that said, if you don't turn it in, you won't get the points for it. So it's only for attendance. So in order to get the full credit for this, you have to view it, do the assignment, and then upload it for me. So that way I know that you did the work, and then you'll get your 10 points. So if I take a look over here, this is what you should have. It should say view assignments, watch video, comment, fill out guided notes, take photo of your work, and upload. Today's video, all your video will always be uploaded by 8:30, okay? If you have questions, I have a daily Zoom meeting from 10:10 to 10:30, and that is the independent time, so it does not interfere with any of your other classes. It's not mandatory, but if you need a clarification or just someone to chat with, you're welcome to do that, and it's the same Zoom meeting with everything else. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and post today's assignment. I'm going to go ahead and create it, assignment. And so for today, you'll be able to see this on MS Team, week 16, Monday, piecewise functions. day 2. Okay, your instructions is the same as every day because we're doing that to be consistent. And that is simply just view the assignment, watch the video, fill out the guided notes. Okay, so here's your instruction right there. And then I'm also going to add the resource. So all the guided notes and the PowerPoint that you need for today is going to be uploaded to this device. So I'm going to go to week 16, Monday, and right here is what you need. And actually, I'm going to rename this to guided notes. So that way you guys know the difference between that and the video. Okay. It's uploading. Done. It is going to be 10 points every day. And I know you're like, well, 10 points doesn't seem like a lot, but actually it is a lot because it's 10 out of 10. So think of it as it's going to be 100%. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And then I'm just going to go ahead and post this. All right, so then with that said, let's go ahead and continue on with today's stuff. All right, so your notes today looks like this, okay? This is from week 16, Monday. Make sure you guys have that. If you don't have it, what you can do is, like I said, you can actually go to your MS Team and you'll be able to download it. And you can either print it out, or if you don't want to print it out, that's fine too. You can go ahead and just write it on a separate piece of paper, take a picture of it. I mean, this year is one of those weird years, so I'm more than happy to accommodate to whatever else you need. So if you take a look at this week 16 Monday, view assignment. And if you look over here, right here, where it says week 16 student guided notes, you can click on that. It'll take you to the PDF. Your warm-up is up here. You're going to have to scroll down a little bit more to the very, very bottom. And there you go. The very last page, this is your guided notes. Okay, so you'll have it. There are like 30 pages up here, so you might have to scroll down a little bit further. And also, it also includes all of your work here for your in-class activity that you're going to be doing, the group work. But really, it's online work. Okay, so let's go back to this then. Before you do the group work, we've got to go over the notes so that way you know what to do. I'm going to go over 3 examples on the left. It says right, but really it's on the left. It's the left side. Come on, Callahan, get it together. Let me just change that. Left, there we go. Okay, much better. All right, let's go ahead and get started, you guys. I'm going to start off right over here. So first example. All right, if you guys take a look at the first example right here, it is a piecewise function. And as you can see, there are actually 3 pieces to this function. Okay, so you got to ask yourself, well, which equation am I going to use for these 5 parts right here? Because there are 3 different equations. So you got to figure out, okay, well, which one is accepting this x? So let's take a look at that. So first equation, if you look right here, it says it's less than -2. So that means it has to be smaller than -2. So that's saying like -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, all the way to -infinity. Okay, so on and so forth. Here, if you take a look at the second equation in the middle, it's between -2 to 5, but it's not including the 5 because there's no equal sign, whereas this one does have equal sign. So that says x can equal to -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can even go up to 4.5, but it cannot equal 5. So those are all the x values for that. The third one you use if x is going to be equal to 5 or bigger than 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to positive infinity. So now that I have determined that, I can now take a look over here and figure out which one I have to use. First one says x equals -5. So where do you see -5 here? ta-da, right there. Okay, so that means you will use the first equation to do this. So first equation is x squared minus 3. So I'm going to have x squared minus 3. Replace the x with a negative 5. Squared minus 3. Negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25. Minus 3, your answer is going to be a 22. And that's your answer. All right, let's go on to the next one. X equals negative 2. Where do you see negative 2 here? On this side. Where is it? I see negative 2 right there. So that means I'm going to be using the second equation to do the second question. So the second equation is just 5. There's no x, so your answer is just 5. All right, third one. If x equals positive 3, where do you see positive 3 here? Well, I see positive 3 as right here. Okay, so once again, you're going to be using the second equation, and you don't have to do any work with it because it's just 5. There's no x involved, so you don't need to substitute. It's just going to be 5. When x equals positive 5, what is your answer? So where do you see positive 5 here? I see positive 5 in the third equation. So then my answer here is going to be 25 minus 2x, which means whenever you see an x, you're going to replace it with a 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. So what is 25 minus 10? That's 15. Last one. When x equals 10, which equation will you be using to find that? What do you see 10? I see 5, 6, 7, 8, positive infinity. You know it's going to include 9 and 10. So 10 is going to be part of this. So you're going to be using the second equation or the third equation. So 25 minus 2 times 10, which is the same thing as 25 minus 20, which is going to be 5. And that is your answer, you guys. All right. Let's go on to the next example here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys to try this on your own. So pause the video and give it a try. All right, so first thing before you do anything, you want to determine what can x equal in this situation, okay? X is less than 0, so what that means is that it has to be smaller than 0, so it could be -1, -2, -3, -4, all the way to negative infinity. For the second equation, it's in between 0 and 3, but notice that there's an equal sign at 0, so x can actually equal to 0. It could equal to 1, 2, 2.5, 2.75, but it cannot be equal to 3, okay? But it could be leading up to 3, like 2.99. The third equation is x is greater or equal to 3, which means x can equal to 3 because of the equal sign right here. But then also it could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to a bazillion or just positive infinity. Okay, so let's take a look at the question here. It's saying when x equals -5, what is your y value? Okay, well, when x equals -5, look over here. Where do you see the -5? I see -5 right here because it is for -1, -2, -3, -4. It could be anything smaller than that, so -5 will be included. So if -5 is here, what is your answer? And there's no x, your answer is just -1. All right, similarly to that, next one is x equals 3. So what is your y value equal to? Once again, you want to find where 3 is. And as I look at this, 3 is right here, okay? Which means your answer is just going to be 15. Okay, so this is the actual question. Well, what if x is equal to 2.5? Well, if x is equal to 2.5, right here is 2.5. So then your y value has to be equal to the middle equation, which is 10. All right, guys, last example. Pause the video and give it a try. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to figure out what can x equal to. So that way you can make the determination of which equation to use. Here it says x is less than 3, which means it can't equal to 3, but it could be like 2.9, 2, 0, could be 1, -1, -2, -3, all the way to negative infinity. Second stipulation for the second equation is x has to be greater or equal to 3. So that means x can equal to 3, 4, and it can equal to 3 because there's an equal sign right there. 5, 6, 7, all the way to positive infinity. All right, let's take a look over here. X equals -5. If x equals -5, where do you see -5 here? -5 will be in the first equation. So you're going to do 2 times -5 minus 1, which is -10 minus 1, which is -11. All right, let's take a look over the next one. X equals 3. Where do you see 3 here? Which equation will you use? 3 is right here in the second equation, so you'll be using the x squared plus 7 equation. So x squared plus 7, replace the x with a 3. 3 squared is the same thing as 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 7 will give you a 16. And that is your answer. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and do this with your classwork. Okay, so what you're gonna have is you're gonna have 20 problems, not in an envelope, but I'm gonna show you. It's gonna be in your guided notes, but also I'm gonna show you in this video. Start with the letter R, okay? And once you solve for R, you're gonna go and find the next letter that has the answer to R, and you're basically gonna start the chain starting from R, find the next letter, which could be any letter, and then from that, do the work, find the answer on another card, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with this one. There are 3 choices. It could either use H, F, or G. Okay, so keep that in mind. So there are 3 equations, but then within those 3 different equations, there are 3 more equations, like 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's take a look at this then. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Starting off with R, it says find f of 3. So because it says f right here, you know you're going to be using the equation with the letter f, okay? And it says x is equal to 3. Well, when x is equal to 3, which equation are you going to use? I'm going to use the first equation, second equation, or third equation. And for that, you have to look at the inequality signs here. Here it's saying x is less than 6. Here is it's between 6 and 10, and I know 3 is not between that. This one's saying x is bigger than 10. Well, 3 is not bigger than 10, so it has to be the first equation. So for the first equation, you have a 2x plus 4. Well, you know your x is 3, so 2 times 3 plus 4. Well, what's 2 times 3? That's going to be a 6. So 6 plus 4 is going to give you a 10. Where do you see 10 here? Boop, right there. So now you know your R goes to the next one, which is L. Okay, let's go ahead and work on L. With L, let's just find f of 13. Well, again, we're on the same one with the f, and the blue one. So where do you see 13 here? Is it the first equation, second equation, or third equation? Well, given the fact that 13 is not between 6 and 10, we're not going to use the second equation. 13 is not smaller than 6, so we're not using the first equation, but 13 is bigger than 10, so I'm going to use the third equation. So I have a negative x plus 3 from this equation. Well, you know x equals 13. My goal is to figure out what is y. So then let's replace the x with 13 plus 3, which is negative 10. All right, where do you see negative 10? Boop, right there. So L goes to Q. And let's go ahead and find Q. Q is now looking at H. So now you're focusing on the red equation. So it's saying when x equals 6, what is y equal to? Well, do you use the first equation? Well, first equation says x is less than -2. Well, 6 is not smaller than -2. Second equation says x is in between -2 and 1. 6 is not between -2 and 1. Third equation says x has to be bigger than 1. And is 6 bigger than 1? Yep, it is. So what is your answer? Notice there's no x. It's just 6. So you don't have to substitute. Where's your 6? Right there. So Q goes to Y. And let's go ahead and do the last one here. So this one's saying when x equals -2, what is the y value equal to? So which equation do you use? You're still on the purple one, which is h. So x is equal to -2. Well, I see -2 right here, and given the fact there's an equal sign, it means I'm going to be using the first equation. It's going to be a 4. So where do you guys see 4? I see 4 right here. So your next letter is going to be A. So now what I want you to do is go ahead and start working on A. Pause the video, match it to either S, M, or T. Show your work. And the place where you're going to be showing your work for this is going to be right here on the second page of what you have. So you started with R, then make sure you write down the letter for the next one and show your work in each of these boxes. So pause the video and answer this. Okay, here's the next set of 4. Pause the video, answer them. Here's the next set, U, Z, C, and V. Pause the video, answer them. And then lastly, W, X, X, and F. There's 2 X's apparently. So let's just say this is X1, X2. Here we go. All right, if you're done, your answer should be in this order. Now, it's great that you have the letters, but you have to show the work in the boxes of your guided notes to receive points. Okay, so when you're done with this, just take a picture of it and then just upload it, and then that's all you have to do. All right, you guys, this is going to be your exit ticket. So your exit ticket is give me a quick draw of the distributed property, commutative property, associative property. And then on today's lesson on piecewise functions, where do you see yourself with a self-evaluation? Do you got it, sort of got it, or you did not get it yet? All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. As always, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.